All right, so we got some absolute tomfoolery going on out here, and I figured I'd pick the camera up. But I cannot find the stupid little tripod that I have for my GoPro. So the lawnmower's in the shop. I got to move the race car to move the lawnmower, and then I got to get the tractor, bring the engine hoist back in the shop, pick up the new generator engine. It's a Yanmar 2-cylinder diesel, but I still have to buy a generator head for it. I'm just going to buy a 10,000 watt generator head. We could do a straight PTO hookup on it, but I think we're just going to do belt drive for now. And it should all fit in a generator box on this trailer. Still not for sure. The trailer is still not done. I polished all of the trim out on it. I've been standing on this so it's not as shiny. I had to stand on this to get up to the top. But all the way around, she's polished. Except for that piece because it's riveted on. I'm going to drill those out. So we got to do all that. But we are in the process of parting out a 2021 CRF 110. So things are scattered around here. I've been cleaning up. I got the fireplace out of here last night. And a bunch of other mess. My truck bed is literally from the top of the bed rails to the tailgate, from the back of the cab, full of stuff. I brought those in. That's something else. Here's a little 2-cylinder diesel, Yanmar. It's a cute little thing. Here's my hand compared to it. It's shorter. It's about to my elbow. That's how big it is. I bought an APU unit for off of a Freightliner, and I'm getting my CDL this month and a truck. And looking back on it, I should have kept this APU as a whole unit so that I'd have one on my truck. But whatever. CDL was not in my plan book whenever I got this little thing. But we're gonna cut these I'm gonna cut these motor mounts off of it or unbolt them, and then I'll use angle iron to get it just high enough to where the oil pan clears. It's got to go in with the fan drive facing the back of the trailer so we can get to our oil filter and our dipstick and pour oil in it and all that from the generator box door. It's got a fuel pump and a remote filter base, so that's perfect. And I'll go over the cooling and all that, like the cooling system, like the radiator, because it is water cooled, later. But right now I got to get this piece of crap out of the way, and I got to move that piece of crap back over here to where it goes. So I got to move all this, and I have to move this out of the way. Oh, I painted the hood. The hood looks really, really good. Race starts in less than a month. The car doesn't have numbers. Car doesn't have numbers. I still don't have a suit yet. Still don't have a helmet yet. And the trailer is still not ready. So that's the good news. Everybody that I've been talking about this generator to, they're like, why don't you just stick a regular generator in it? And I can do that. I have the Predator 3500 in the trailer under the cabinets, but I want a more permanent diesel generator. That you just can't beat a diesel generator. And I know for a fact that a diesel generator is way better than a $800 Harbor Freight quad generator. Way more fuel efficient. It's going to be quieter, believe it or not, and it's just going to run a whole lot better. Other than the fact, I wish it was air cooled, but it's not. But I got that under control too. But I'm going to let this thing charge for a few more minutes, and then we should be ready. Oh, I got an air tire. I got to get 2 new Hoosiers for the front of the car. A whole lot of people say don't run a Hoosier on both sides of the front, but every time I look at a picture of their car, they have a Hoosier on the left front and the right front. So I'm gonna go off of what they do, not what they say. So let's hope it works out. All right. Let's see. Had to take the hook off of one end, run. See, the problem with this stupid little cart, it only turns on one end, and half the time the son of a bitch doesn't even turn. Why I couldn't just put this through that loop. It's probably gonna pick the engine up and fall over that way, but doesn't hurt to try. I'm sure it's gonna do exactly what I said it will. But before I go through all the trouble, well, it's not gonna fit now because that chain. Oh gosh. That'll work. Let me get that chain out of there. But before it gets dark, I guess I'll run out there once I get this picked up and show y'all how I'm going to do the cooling system on this bad girl. I still don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of people telling me why I shouldn't do this. I got an idea. I'm gonna take this hook off, put this chain on, or this hook on, because it has that clip on it like that. Now the cotter pin for it right here. See, now this is a big brain move. Alright, well, the cotter pin don't want to go in right, so we'll put it in like an idiot. Alright, let's see how bad it works now. Let's see if it breaks that hook in half, and then bust the block and the head off of it. Oh shoot. Okay, it's not bad. Are you serious? There we go. Got the little motor. Here she is, swanging. All right, so now I can get these motor mounts off. I can spin it and swivel it and do whatever I gotta do. So I will be making my own wiring harness for it. I did kind of find joy in making a wiring harness for the last generator I was gonna put in the trailer, but then I decided to go back to this route. So, but it should be easy. Glow plug module, or glow plugs, fuel solenoid. I don't know if this is RPM signal or sensor or some kind of like timing thing. I don't know. This engine had, so it was in that APU unit generator off a big truck, and it had its own computer and monitor. So I don't know what this would be other than RPM. So I'm going to say this is RPM. Then your coolant temp sensors right here. It does not have an oil pressure sensor on it, but it will be getting one. So just because I'm a nerd, I like to know every little bit of information about an engine while it's running. Like that car doesn't have an oil pressure sensor in it. We're putting it doesn't have an oil pressure gauge, so we're putting a oil pressure gauge in it. But let me go show you the cooling system. All right, so I don't have the power hooked up. I unplugged the cord. So the smart thing would have been to plug the cord back up so I have this light. But that generator, the whole setup is going to be able to fit from here to the battery. That's the battery box. Now, this thing is huge. It's a huge ass generator box. But if we need extra room, I'm going to cut a part of this wall out right here. That's the front cabinet separation wall. And I'm going to move the batteries up under the counter up there. We'll just lose one cabinet. So then I'll have enough room in here. There's enough room because, like I said, that engine isn't as wide as my forearm. It comes up to about my forearm, and my whole arm up to my shoulder fits in this generator box. So that clears us. The exhaust is going to run straight down, straight out the side and come out right here like it would on a toy hauler camper. And the radiator is either going to go under the trailer. It's got an electric fan on it, so it's either going to go under the trailer. I'm not really worried about it getting covered up and stuff because it's kind of protected. I'll show y'all. It's in the back of my pickup, but it's kind of like in its own shroud, so I'm not really worried about it getting full of mud or anything. Or it can go in the front of the trailer right here somewhere, but I'm kind of opposed to that. Maybe it can go up under here because the fuel tank is going to go right here. Getting a diamond plate aluminum fuel tank like you'd see in the bed of a pickup, that's going to go right here because that engine has an electric fuel pump on it here. And on top of that, the mini split unit is going on top of the fuel tank, and we're trying to get a low profile one. We got a guy that can make one if it comes to that, but the mini split is going to go on top of the fuel tank, and then like I said, the radiator can go under the fuel tank if it needs to. So we've got a plan, and we have a backup plan for every plan that doesn't work. And as far as ventilation goes, I guess open the door up, but that door needs vents in it anyway. So until then, we can either leave it open or put vents on that door, like generator door vents, you know, like specific vents. All right, so this is a CF Moto 4500 generator. I made a whole new wiring harness for it. I took it out of the case. It's one of those super duper quiet generators, and it would have been more than enough power, but I am extra and I wanted a diesel generator, and so did the dog. The dog said he wanted one, so we're getting one. So I'm not done with that yet. It's a backup if everything else falls through. If everything else falls through, we'll go back to that one, and if that one falls through, we'll go back to tried and true, the Predator. So here's the screens and everything that I had built into this panel. This is the low idle and auto idle switch for that CF Moto, and this is your main screen that tells you everything, and then this was an LED indicator light like for low oil, for output and overcharge or whatever. But this trailer needs a switch panel, some kind of bad. And here's where I'm at on this. Do I put this switch panel right here, because this trailer has rear pit lights, it's going to get side pit lights, it's got these orange lights, it's got the radio, it's got the refrigerator. So right now the yellow lights up here are on this switch, the radio's on this switch, and unfortunately the rear pit light is on the 12-volt interior lights, which I am not a fan of that. I don't want that. So it's going to be getting put on a switch. So rear pit light, aesthetic lights, refrigerator, radio, spare, which could be the side pit lights. So everything's already there, and it's got USBs on it and voltage for the batteries. Or does the main control panel for the diesel generator, like water temp, oil pressure, RPM, which really doesn't matter on a generator, so I might not do RPM. I'll do RPM one time just to get it at 60 hertz on the generator head, so I know what it's set at, because David tinkered with the throttle screw. David. So all of this right here is obsolete. Like I said, oil pressure, water temp, and maybe a ampere or a volt gauge, just so we can see that we're actually charging and stuff like that. So that's what's going right here. I'm going to get some glow shift gauges for all that. It's extra again. Point out that this diesel engine is going to have a generator or an alternator on it, which is going to charge the trailer batteries for the winch and the 12-volt lights and the rear pit lights and the fridge, which is why I said actually charging in that clip. 12-volt refrigerator, that's why I was saying it's going to be on a switch, because it's a 12-volt fridge. But we still have a lot to do. I still have to polish all those out, unfortunately. And I've still got to mount the TV. I got to get another toolbox like these because we're overflowing with tools. Stuff like that. And the girls still have not painted the ceiling or any of this. We're going to be painting the floor a light gray, I think. I could be wrong. Still got to paint around the edges. Still got to acid wash these. So